views expressed by the Love of the Game pod are their opinions and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of SUV TV, its sponsors, or affiliates.
Hey, man. Look.
Ain't playing nobody.
Talk that, hey,
Why
big.
are we doing
Hey,
this?
talk that talk. Big. You know what? Yeah, we're doing this. Hey, all podcasts, we're doing
I'ma
this.
chill.
Hey, no, we're doing it.
Doing what?
Doing what?
Huh?
Hey man, it feels good to be back. Y'all have replaced me with
We put the ball on there.
At least you won the Evo ball.
I like the Evo balls.
I think everybody kind of liked it too. Like I don't
Like
know.
the ball?
Yeah, I don't.
Or without him here.
No, I just mean the fact that it was a.
I'll translate.
There you go.
Look, hold on. Now, Locke been trying to get rid of me for like 4 episodes.
been trying to get
I
rid
got
of
one. I took one shot and then. But no, I got positive feedback from having the basketball there.
What was the feedback?
That it was
They said
more
we
handsome.
respected and we
was
respected
calming.
you. Yeah.
It was more handsome than you being there.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I didn't. No.
Lock was at the public.
And I never disrespect Mr. Swipe Right like that. Never, never in my life.
We.
Hey, Locke is living. Hey man, you living how we
He
supposed
out
to be
here,
living,
man.
Locke.
I don't know what rumors y'all been hearing. I go to church on Sundays.
Oh.
Be at home in the house.
Hey, we got a lineup. We got a lineup. My bad. I should turn my volume down on the show. This is how you know it's gonna be a good show. Like we talking over the disclaimer. Like we got noise in the background. That's how y'all know it's gonna be good. I tried to count and go back. We're going into year 3 of the podcast.
Wow.
Well, it's been that long.
We're going into year 3 of the podcast, and I tried to go back and count every episode. But because I was so unorganized before, it was a little all over the place. Thank you, SUV TV, for helping us get on track. That it was a little tough to count every episode, but we are roughly approaching our 90th episode of the show. We're closely approaching.
When we get to 100, it's got to be a celebration.
Oh man, hey look,
Gotta have a party.
the 100th episode is going to be held at a private location. Details will over 18 and over, and details will be shared with the listeners. But no, seriously, I just want to thank. Matter of fact, hey, Leon from the Philippines, what's up, bruh? And that's what I want. I did want to start with that. Now that we're thinking about how long of a road that it's been, before we get into this, we got a loaded show up today. I did want to say some thank yous. Our international listeners have been so incredible, like supporting our show over multiple platforms. Like they were there from just the website to being able to listen to us on iTunes, being able to listen to us on iTunes and Spotify, Google Play. Then we made the switch to SoundCloud. They joined, right? And now they're with us on YouTube, man. So, Leon, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for rolling with us from the Philippines. Our huge listenership that we have in Africa that always supports. Nigeria always supports. Ghana always supports our show. It is insane to me. Switzerland, like we have listeners from everywhere. It's crazy. So we used to shout you guys out all the time, but I wanted to get back to shouting you guys out and recognizing you. So thanks everybody for, if you're watching on your TV right now through the Roku app, or through what's the Apple stuff? Y'all the Apple users. Tell me what it is. When you watch TV on your Apple device.
I use Roku.
I use Roku too. Apple TV.
Apple
there
TV,
it is.
I was like-
I almost said it. Yeah, I mean, look, you know, Android still. What color are my messages when I send them to you? Is it like green?
Green.
You
Green.
know, girls will start talking to you. They see a green message.
See? Hey, you ain't got nothing to worry about because I got an Android phone that won't talk to me anyway.
Are you gonna get rid of that on your 100th episode?
Am I going to get rid of this on a... Maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll switch
Like,
to
we
an
can wrap
iPhone.
his present and give him an iPhone.
I'm telling you, he messing up the group chat.
Those green
Them
bubbles.
green bubbles.
I know.
Hey, man, we got Canada in the building. Much love from the Six. Hey, we love y'all too, man. So, but great show lined up.
Somebody just asked me why I got on glasses.
You and Bryce came out extra today, dog. Like, we
Look
got
what- look
wardrobe
what-
changes. Like, y'all really.
Look what Bryce got on today.
I'm saying.
Oh,
Hey, Bryce
Balenciaga.
look, low key, Bryce has not been playing with us since the end of season 1. Like,
These are not my glasses. I was with Mark at camp. These are his glasses. I'm trying to see what he be seeing in some of these players. We argue all day.
Bang, 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 bang.
yo,
So these Mark
That was
glasses.
funny. He did. He had
We
one
argue
today
all
that
day
was
today at camp.
trying to tell us
on the
it
radar
was
super system for
Division
camp.
1 low major. That was the argument today.
Yeah. We was arguing about kid after kid after kid.
wow.
Mark, I'm trying to see him.
Those don't hurt your face.
Nah, Jay.
Can't see what he see. So guys, what's as we kind of before we get into the show, man, has anything awkward? Like, I feel like since we've been on SUV TV, like, it's different. And maybe I'm just awkward, but like, have y'all had any interesting moments since we've been on
So I was-
SUV? Like, is it
Like you mean like outside or like
yeah, like
yeah, like I was at a Christmas party and I was just happen to tell my coworker like, yeah, this podcast, is doing pretty well. Every time I step out, somebody always, says they seen the podcast. So literally like 5 minutes later, a random girl walks up to me and says, "Are you on a podcast?" I lied to you not. And I'm like, "See, I told you." And then the girl, I'm like, "Do you watch basketball or do you?" "No." I'm like, "So how did you see that?" "Oh, it just came up on my Twitter timeline." But to me, that was crazy. Like, she didn't
It's
even
nuts.
watch basketball and it popped up.
I'm gonna tell you, like, I'm still amazed coming home finding out that my wife watched the show every single time. Like, I'm still thrown off
That's pretty good.
by the fact that, like, I could come in and she's talking about it. Now, before SUV TV, she wasn't watching that. She wasn't listening to that.
Well, I say it was nothing to watch.
Well, it could have been 3 hours long, too.
Right. It was really long.
For sure.
We be driving home from work and still on there.
No.
But I just want, man, sincerely, like, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in, listening, watching. Coaches, everybody, listeners, players, like, please understand that I do not assume that you know who I am. It's really weird. I go watch games. Like, I was in the gym one time with Jermaine Sellers watching Kale play, and I've watched Jermaine coach a million times. I sit behind his bench almost every time I've gone to watch him play, and he kind of walked up and dapped me up, and I was kind of thrown off by it because I don't assume that y'all watch this. It's still kind of odd to me. Like, I don't assume people watch it. I don't assume that people know who I am. But so if I'm a little awkward,
Andre's tweets
that's
have
why.
gone from like 2 and 3 likes to like 300 likes.
Yeah, he's big time.
Anybody notice that?
we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about.
He's like the voice of the people, the street.
I wasn't gonna talk about this early, but my tweets got me blocked.
They sure did.
By who?
Who blocked you?
A complete clown. I got blocked by the most clownest of clowns. Like, Cal Sandy blocked me for something that I didn't even have anything to do with me. It was the most clowniest of clown blocks I've ever seen. Clowniest.
That is a
So
word.
lame.
Right.
He is so lame. Like, he is so lame.
You've been waiting on this.
No, don't. So, kinda.
What do you block you? Can we get the whole story?
So I was, and the crazy thing is, I got blocked for trying to be the adult in the room in the conversation. Right? It was a very important. Here's the thing. There was a very important conversation that was taking place. I believe, about Cal Sandy and how he operates with his company. Right? And here's the thing. Backstory. Right? We've had our podcast for going on 3 years.
Yep.
We talk about players on our podcast all the time. We talk from pro all the way to high school to AAU, middle school. Like, we've covered it all. If you're playing basketball in Georgia, like, we've talked about you and your game, right? we also understand, and we have these talks on air and off air, that we have a responsibility, right? That we will not say things on our show that could impact the kid negatively for being recruited. That's just, we've never felt like that was our place. We'll tell you what we think of a kid's game. We'll tell you what he does good. But hey, head coach, that's your job. You're the recruiter. You have an opportunity to talk to his high school coaches and the people that really know this kid. You have a chance to get in to know and meet and talk to the parents, right? And you get paid to go find out any information that may be out there that you may deem to be negative. It's not our job to go and just wild out and say crazy things about kids and their shot selection or whatever the case may be, right? And I feel like we've taken a responsibility to do that. I feel like we've not lied to anybody or led anybody astray or said, oh, this kid is the next blah, blah, blah. We big up kids that are going to be great at the Division III level. The same way we big up kids that are going to be great at the high major level. We treat them equally because if you can play at the next level, you're a part of a small percentage of people who have the opportunity to go do that. And we've celebrated it, right? So there was a conversation going on about this clown that turned, and anytime race gets put into play, right, you have to be careful. And that's what I was trying to make sure was being done, right? Because when it comes to talking about transfers, George brought up, who he also blocked, George brought up that some of his tweets negatively impact African-American players, right? And challenged him about how often he changed jobs, which I found out to be way more than what I even thought. Didn't know you used to be on coaching staff, and you, okay, that didn't work. But okay, that's cool. Yeah, I found out some really interesting things.
We skipped the whole intro. Go ahead.
Yeah, we did. But we're getting there. We're getting there, I promise. So, yes, I promise I'm going to talk about Kai Soto. We're probably going to talk
Can
about
we get him on here?
a lot, man. I want Kai Soto on the show.
You got to get him on
Love
here.
that kid. So yes, you're gonna get Kai Soto. Hey man, yes, we love him. But back to this clown.
Sheesh.
So look, I feel like this, and multiple things here, right? We don't hold adults around basketball accountable. We talk about kids and we hold kids accountable. You can say any mean thing that you want, a negative thing you want about a kid or a parent, but Lord forbid you talk about a coach or a scout or somebody else, right? If they're not involved with AAU, it's like they're off limits. No, he's a clown. There's an important conversation going on. He had an opportunity to say some important things and clear the air on some things, and instead of doing that, he just decided to block everybody that's been involved. And what I found out was that's his MO. Instead of having any important conversation or any conversation that may, cause any type of friction where he actually has to account for the things that come out of his mouth, he'll just block it and not deal with it, right? So I said two things, right? The first thing that I said was not even directed towards him. I wasn't even holding him accountable. What I said was, hey, coaches, you guys have texted me and DM'd me for years being upset with this guy and saying that he's bad for basketball, right? Don't let George die on his hill. Speak up. And I meant that. For every coach that's ever said something negative to me about Cal Sandy, I felt like that was the time not to air the man out, because I also said that he may or may not know that what he's saying is negatively impacting people.
Kids, yeah.
So I gave him the benefit of the doubt, right? But his actions afterwards let me know that he does know. He's just an idiot.
Well, all right.
To me, that's just, and again, nothing personal. I don't know him. Now I don't want to. I was trying to have an adult
You
conversation.
wouldn't want to
which
clear
we
the
should.
air with him and bring him on the show?
That's what I said. Bring him on the show and clear the air out.
For what?
So,
Yeah, he has a platform. Invite me on. I'll call him a clown to his face on his platform.
Sheesh.
well,
And we can clear the air.
All
Or however he wants to do
opinions
it.
Expressed by the love of the game.
That's just my look.
No.
There was a time to have an adult conversation. I made sure to mention, hey, we should be able to discuss this thing openly as adults. I said exactly that, right? And I also, like I said, gave him benefit of the doubt to say, hey, what he's saying, he may not understand the impact of it, right, on certain people. And that's going to come up later on in the show, that how we can do things that you may or may not know that you're impacting another group of people. You may not always know. But when people are trying to explain that to you, right, and you want to be a clown about it, then that says that you don't really care that you're impacting those people. Because I'll just block you and keep on rolling and keep on saying what I'm saying. No, I'm not going to let a glorified stat taker do that.
Well, I'll screenshot the tweets for you next season.
I don't want to see them. I don't need to see them. Hey, man, if I want to know what information am I going to get from him that is vital? Just who scored what? Like, I'll text the coach hey, man, what was the score of your game? Right?
Man, let's go, man.
Okay, let's go.
Talk some basketball.
I just had to say that because
You feel good. You got it off your shoulders.
No.
It's been burning his
It's been
chest.
burning your chest for a minute now.
Hey, man.
You said it with your chest.
we are caretakers of the basketball community, and we're supposed to
It
be
was like
here
when cone liquor
try
come
to
down in your throat.
push the game forward. That's what we here to do, man. We here to push the game forward, dog. It ain't supposed to be.
Well, let's push. Let's push.
push.
Let's push.
Let's push. Man, I love. Hey, man, y'all ready for Casoto in here? I love that. Huff got you.
Yeah, Huff definitely gonna hold you
All the
down.
pressure.
now.
All the pressure's on Huff. Here we go. To my left. My brother from Ben Hill, Ben Real. What is it? It's 805 Pride?
805 Pride.
805 Pride's own. Recently off his Elite 8 run, and Coach, I thought you had him. And I thought we was going to the Final Four, dog. The Mays graduate. I'm gotta throw that. Hey, bro, we gotta figure this out. You went to Mays? You went to Mays, not Doug. You went to Mays?
Benjamin Elijah Mays High School.
Man, that's how we're gonna do it. That's how we're gonna do it from now on. Former state champion and future state champion. I thought we had it this year. Didn't happen.
Had too many
We was,
stuff.
yeah, a lot of stuff going on first year, right, at the new spot. The head coach of Holy Innocents Episcopal School. All y'all waiting for Casoto news? This is the head coach of the school that you played at. Coach Huff, what's good, bro?
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about, including Kai Soto, but a lot to talk about.
We do have a lot to talk about. And they ready for
mean,
Willa Grayson too already. Like they
Gosh,
like,
man, they ready for us to
I'm
get
telling
it.
you, hey man,
They said hurry up with these intros.
Listen, it's a 2-hour show. It's a 2-hour
Man.
show. We are getting there. I promise you. And
South
when we get, when we get to those games, I promise you don't want to miss it. It's coming. Trust me. Trust me. Just stay with me. To my right,
Yo,
Creekside assistant coach.
yo,
Trust the process.
yo, baby, yo.
The hottest head coach.
It's a new year.
I told him to bring whatever he brought.
You know what it is.
Bryce,
You know what
Bryce
it
is sitting in
is.
the car with me.
It's been raining for like 3 months, so I
you saw the
see
sun?
now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, he brought the shoulders out. He brought the shoulders. Hey, Bryce said the new the new little baby came out. The new
Baby
Uzi
came out.
came out. Like
I'm not on the Uzi yet. That's too kiddie for me.
I'll
I'm gonna
get-
try it though.
and I'm gonna give you 4
But
songs.
you know what's supposed to be good?
I'ma
That
give you
Jada
4
Kiss.
songs.
That Jada Kiss.
I heard that. I heard
That's
Jada.
what I
was
heard.
good. I heard Jada was good. I'm gonna give you 4 songs on that Uzi. You gonna like it.
It's
I
not.
promise.
Okay.
Willa runs GAA. Y'all in here ready? Y'all in here ready? Hey, talk that talk.
You're like a big Zaco.
The man, $1 million worth of scholarship touched his hands over the summer. B.
Got
Will,
some
what's
more on
good,
the
bro?
way. Got some more on the way. You know
Hey, man,
what
I
I'm
hear
saying?
y'all loading up, dog, for the summer. Y'all loading up already? Is this what's happening? It's almost AAU
The
season.
hashtag, it seems like for the Twitter summer has been, it's going to be, what is it, a cold summer?
Close. Sheesh.
But we'll see.
Okay. Y'all about the
He got
Jay-Z
some
or
kids
something?
who seen him today. That
We'll
count.
see. And
Well, he got-
that's like, I got part A and part B.
Hey,
I
y'all,
think most of those were like on the part B. The part A haven't been revealed yet.
y'all got one kid that put his chest on the rim today. That was nuts. I ain't
He
seen a
dunked
windmill.
like a million times.
I ain't seen a windmill like that in a
That's
long
the
time.
kid that put a tweet out on himself.
Oh,
You know, some
Anyway.
some people don't
Of course.
handle their own Twitter accounts.
Hey,
I'm
well,
not sure if that's what that is.
I was about to say.
I'm making the pass ahead. Let's push.
Good
I
idea.
don't want to talk
Not the dribble with the pass.
with the pass. To my far left, South Georgia's favorite son, Mr. Swipe Right.
Oh, man, this is one.
The South Georgia evangelist, the South Georgia apologist. I really want to know how much he has to say about South Georgia at this point.
Wow.
Lock. It was
Yo,
good.
Hey,
Who
before
held it
you
down from the
start,
South?
man? Hold my Mark Edward glass.
Oh.
What you wearing today?
Oh, let's go.
Gotta represent. Y'all
Hey!
see that?
What
Y'all
is
see
that?
that? Dutch Town.
Man, how you get that shirt, man?
Hey, man.
That's his
man.
guy,
Hey,
man.
come
Hey, he
on,
went
man.
from
They
South-
just won last night.
Hey, it don't matter. It won Friday. That was last night.
Golly,
Hey.
same thing.
Lock don't even know what day it is.
Hey, man, come on,
Hey, Lock,
man.
I will give you
called
credit. Let's give Lock his flowers.
I mean, we all said
You know
Dutch
when he
Town.
called it though.
Lock called it. In June.
He
June.
called it a long time
He
ago.
called
After the
them-
Summer Explosion
After one
series.
game.
He called them winning state
Okay,
championship
they
in
had a
June.
roster though.
It was a first year coach. Then Jermaine just transferred in.
They had a
Yeah,
roster.
you see how many options.
Nah, I gotta give him that. You called it in June.
Nah, he
did
called it.
he called
Nah,
it
he
in
called it. I'm not-
Hey, that's back-to-back years
Oh yeah.
where you've called a state champion in June, I think. Didn't you call Americans last year?
They ain't make it though. They win, but they ain't win. I called San Antonio, not San Antonio. I called
Toronto.
You called
I
Toronto.
called Toronto.
Okay, got you.
He called Toronto.
Yeah, he said the Toronto Raptors was gonna win.
When we was on the phone.
Yeah.
Before we got
Who's
hired.
gonna win March Madness? Final Four.
That was hard.
That's hard. I gotta work that weekend. Sean.
He is talking about the tournament.
We got a tournament that weekend.
That means I'm gonna be working too.
Final Four weekend.
Sucks for y'all.
But yeah,
I'm not
Law's
playing.
way is the only way, man.
I take it everybody's week was good. We was all watching a lot of basketball. Being that we just had the longest intro ever, we can just go ahead and roll and get to it. Why not? We good?
We're good.
Cool. I know everybody on here like, finally, what? It's AAU time.
Yes, sir.
State championships are over. We're going to talk about the state championships a little bit later in the show. But it's officially AAU time. It's the time that players begin to be packaged together. It's the time that shoes start getting delivered and promises start getting
Shoes
made,
started getting
only
delivered.
to be broken the second week of April after the first live. Hey, quick question. Does free agency, AAU free agency, does it begin the first week of live period or the second week now that we got 2 weeks in April? What happens?
I don't even think it begins during live period.
No?
I think it begins after the OTR preseason or the opening. 'Cause-
Final Four weekend, we're going to get AAU free
yeah,
agency?
because
People
you
still move around after that.
Yeah.
People will play that first weekend in March and move after that.
can move
They-
because
I-
you don't want to be on a team not getting playing time during
Going into live period.
Early live.
Come
We
on.
got an
Hey,
early
man.
free agency.
People change schools in the middle of the season.
That's
So-
happening now. And playing.
Yeah, and
Or
playing.
not
So-
playing. Depending on,
So, oh my bad.
or not playing. 40 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
But so, how, anybody got any experience with this?
So-
AAU package deals. Do you take a kid if he comes with another kid?
Depending on how
Is it
good.
always
depends.
one kid that's really, really good and one kid that can't play?
If
Is
he's
that how it
really,
always
really
works?
good, like I don't seen 7-footers came with 5-8 point guards.
So that's what I got to do. I got to find a 7-footer.
If you want a shoot team, if you want to, I haven't seen it.
How does that work? I don't have any experience with that. Nobody wants to package.
He gets all the gear, but he doesn't get the playing time. The 5'8" guard, he's squared. He's
Drip.
squared out.
Drip.
He drifting.
EYBL fresh KBs.
But he ain't seeing that EYBL court.
Bryce, are you getting
A package deal?
are you getting approached about packages? I don't wanna say that you got a package deal. I just want to ask the question: are you getting approached about it?
Of course.
I wonder why. Y'all don't love Man Up enough to actually ask for it. That's messed up.
Hey, wait, I need to say this. With ANU coming up, please don't text me. He's a true freshman. Don't care. If
high
he's a
school.
freshman, he's a freshman.
There's no such
There's
thing as a true
no such
freshman.
thing as a true freshman anymore. All right, period. If he's in the 9th grade, his report card say the 9th grade, he's in the 9th grade. I don't care if he's 17. his report card say he's in the 9th grade.
Hey man, I'm not gonna do that. How old are you? Do you need to be before GHSA says that you cannot play high school basketball anymore?
Like 19.
Or,
August something.
no, I thought it was May.
It's another May.
I can't remember, but it's something like that. It's either May or August, something like
But you could turn 19 during the season.
that. Yeah.
Because there's
You
a lot
can't
of
be
kids.
19 going into your senior year, something like that. I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, say
I
if
just asked.
if your
'cause
birthday's
I-
like in
you know,
December,
I hear we got one out
it doesn't matter.
there. Yeah.
Coaches ain't care asking about
I
how
don't think
old he
it.
is.
I don't think that matters anymore after
It doesn't matter. They want to know if you can
school
play.
season.
It doesn't matter.
No,
Got you.
We
I
got-
was more so talking about for GHSA. Like, there's gonna be a kid that's
that matters for that. But yeah.
okay, cool. I just wanted to know the rules. I ain't pointing at nobody.
Hey
else.
man,
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
I like super seniors.
I ain't got.
We know. Tell them what a super senior is.
Hey man, let's go. Let's go, man. Let me push it.
Just kidding.
Also on the show, what we like to do, man, is shout out guys from Georgia that are playing well at the next level. We call this segment "Doing Work." Just want to shout out to a couple of guys that are getting busy at the next level. Colin Sexton hit a 40 ball.
Yeah.
He has about 30 games or so, or 40 games, something like that, some crazy number of 20-plus points per game.
Yep.
He is the third player in Cavaliers history to score 40 under 22 years of age. So he joined LeBron and Kyrie as the only Cavalier players to hit 40 before their 22nd birthday. Wanted to shout out to Colin. Looked at his numbers. Shot the ball better than everybody said in year one and improved across the board his shooting in year two. Assist numbers are up. Turnovers are still down. He only averages 2 turnovers a game.
Yeah. He's hooping.
So playing basketball, taking care of the ball, has done tremendously well. There were people who compared him to Patrick Beverly and said he was going to be a defender. And I think for us watching him, we knew he was a bucket. I'll tell you off air. Very popular. But he's incredible, man. So I wanted to for a guy that gets left out of a lot of, ended up getting put into the All-Star, but got left out of the rookie sophomore challenge.
Yeah. But he did end up playing though, even though he got left off.
Got left off originally,
Original
right?
roster,
Yeah, but putting up better numbers than guys that were in the game. So go figure. So shout out to C, the young bull, set the city on fire when he was here. It was electric. One of the most electric players I've had a chance to see in GSSA. Another electric player, Isaiah Miller, who we talked about for years.
That's crazy.
Talked about for years on the show. Just clean house in the Southern Conference.
Oh yeah.
The first player in history of the Southern Conference to win Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and also got first team All Southern Conference this year.
Yeah. Shout out to Infinite Skills.
But is he a first round? Is he a first round kid?
I'll say he
Doing
played his
all of
way
that?
into the NBA.
He
I
At
don't
least
know.
second round.
I think you got to still. It's too early to say who, because you don't know who's coming out yet.
Yep.
Nobody's done pre-draft workouts, none of that kind of stuff. So you don't know.
Should he enter his name this year?
Got to.
You
got
got to
to.
see where he could end up.
He's gotta-
He's got to
yeah,
see where he
I
can
think-
I mean, how can you top all of that?
True.
I mean, what can you like?
Another thing that we always talk about on this show, though, it's another kid that picked the right school. The coaching staff did a great job of developing.
Yeah.
Wes
and working
Miller
with
and,
that kid.
Shout out to
Andre Morgan when he
Andre
was there. That's
recruited
who.
him, yeah.
That's who recruited him.
Great job,
Yeah.
man. Like that.
Hey, Andre better than me. I would have took him with me.
Dude can ball.
No, bro, come
Isaiah
on,
Miller
come
can
here,
ball.
bro. You coming with
Isaiah
him?
You
Miller
gotta
can
come
ball.
with me, dude.
He's getting it done, man. So great fit, great pick, right? It's a lot of guys on the same page who knew what they doing with that kid. So a lot goes into that. So congratulations to that. Also want to shout out to the brother CY, man.
Got a big win, yeah.
Florida
season.
State.
Regular season.
He's a
ACC
champ.
New blood.
Florida State
See the hashtag new blood.
wins the first regular season ACC title ever in school history.
Man, they got Coach Ham and Stan Jones on the ladder to cut down the nets, man.
Yeah. Gotta celebrate, dude. Gotta put respect on his name. Me being a Louisville Cardinal fan, I know firsthand some of the things that get said. Try not to pay attention to the message boards. You try not to pay attention to Twitter. But the slanderous things that get said about Coach Leonard Hamilton is crazy. To have the type of longevity that he's had at Florida State, kudos to their administration for continuing to trust him to lead them through, everything that they've been through, the ups and downs. But one thing that they always do, they always produce pros. So,
Most definitely.
and not just guys, why I respect them over some of the other one-and-done factories that we see. They crank out pros that nobody thought was pros
Hey,
coming
true.
in.
Hey, they got a
Facts.
dude on their team that looks like Zion.
Never, I mean,
Yo,
I don't know where
I
they
can't
find
even
these
remember
kids.
his name, but dude is huge.
If I'm a recruiter at another high major school, I'm just putting a tracking device on CY, and wherever CY go,
Yeah.
that's where I'm trying to go.
But the
because-
problem with that is CY knows what fits Florida State. He
Yeah,
knows
for sure.
who can play for Leonard Hamilton. Like, so the kid that can fit for Florida State might not fit for wherever school
Yeah.
who's putting the tracking device on.
and
And
they
I
got-
think that's the issue that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Like, we had these lists. It's the top 100 list in America. And that kid can't play for your coach. He can't
And-
play in that system.
and they-
no
and-
matter how good he is.
And they got McGowan, Bryce McGowan was
McGowan
coming
got
in
the
too.
2021
So
class.
they not stopping anytime soon.
And he's cold.
Yes, sir.
Freshman year alumni. First year. Ooh, that 2021 class from freshman year is loaded.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Matthew Cleveland,
Yeah,
Madison
yeah.
Durgis won state championship. They were there.
Koiska Reeves.
Kawasi. Yeah.
That's loaded.
know the class, man.
Somebody owe me a ring.
In the midst of all that, NBC Sports published a report.
Oh, we gonna get out this segment of doing work without giving our guy Rico Dawson some.
Oh, yes.
some
I'm
props.
Yeah. I'm glad you
I
said
was
that.
getting to Rico.
Okay, I just want to make
But let's
sure.
go.
All
No,
right.
let's go. Let's go.
I was there yesterday. Rico Dawson was on this show.
Yes, he was.
A lot. What did he tell us on this show? A lot.
We going to Hutch.
He said that. He said, and me and you both agreed.
Yep.
Like, you're going.
And he did exactly what he said. 3 straight.
Three, yeah.
Back to
To
back
back.
to back.
With his son starting at the point guard, Champ Dawson.
They
That's
beat
how you do
Georgia
it.
Highlands yesterday in Macon. Great
Great win.
opportunity to go to Hutch. And
Great win.
it's funny, they took a picture with a toolbox.
Doing work.
Doing
Hey,
work.
man, doing work.
Hey.
Look, but this is also, didn't he win Coach of the Year also?
He did win Coach of the Year as well.
Man, shout out to
And,
Rico, man.
and I ain't tweeted out, but he's one of the best coaches in the state.
I was gonna
Regardless
say.
of college, high school, whatever. He's one of the best coaches. There's no way you go back to back
to back to back.
Because Georgia Highlands is always
Very
It's in
good.
your rankings.
Yeah.
Central's never on there.
Yep.
The top 25, you never see Central Georgia Tech. You already see the Georgia Highlands. And at the end of the season, Rico always end up being on top. So that speaks a lot on his program. That speaks a lot on in making Georgia,
Hey.
how they support the community.
Coaching matters.
Yeah.
Larry.
We're going to talk about that later.
Michael
Coaching
Miller,
matters.
Georgia buddy.
And
Whoa.
then, Alex Island, Dalton State, they won their conference. They're
Yes.
going to the NAIA Division I tournament.
I wish I could go.
I think
I wanna
that'll
go.
I think that'll be a great one.
I would love to go. I promise, Coach, I would get up there. I want to bring my kids up there.
Well, I'm
watch
gonna
them
be up there
practice.
this week,
Really?
Word.
Thursday or Friday. Got to be up there for the GACA All Star stuff. So
If you're going Friday, man, all right.
Well,
yeah.
you go to SEC.
I mean, you driving past my house. before.
You go to SEC this Friday.
Speaking of SEC, Lock, where our tickets at, bro?
Man, you got a dollar number?
Coach Dollar, hit me up, man. We trying to go to the SEC tournament. But no, definitely big shout out to Rico Dawson, and it does play into this next thing because he is a head coach,
Yeah.
right? And NBC Sports published a report that the number of black head coaches continues to fall at the highest level. I'll skim through and just throw out some numbers to you guys, and then I'm gonna bring out some things that stuck to me, right, as important. As you guys know who listen to the show, we've had so many head coaches and assistant coaches on this show at all levels, right? From Tribby, all you Kai Soto fans, we're working to get Rob Johnson from TSF on the show as well.
Get Rob.
Hopefully he brings Kai Soto with him. And but we've had coaches from all levels. Aaron Tribby, you know, different guys that we've had on the show that were coaches. Even Larry Thompson has been on the show. For you guys in here screaming that y'all want Larry talk, Larry has actually been on our show
Yes.
2 times, 3 times,
I think it was twice.
and gave us great stuff. So go back and listen to a couple of those old episodes. As Larry first got the job at Willard, we were reaching out.
Yeah. And
We knew what it was. We was on the bandwagon early,
Yeah. Then when EJ made McDonald's,
for sure.
we put him back on
And
the
I'm
show.
back. Couple things that stuck out that you guys probably already know. 2017, 2018, there was a poll done. 53.6% of all players playing basketball were African American. When you get to the highest levels of basketball, it jumps up to about 80% when it comes to black players at major conferences. When you look at those same major conferences, Power 5 conferences, only 13% of the head coaches are black, right? They interviewed a lot of assistant coaches, and some of the assistant coaches used things that were said on our show, right? If you go back and you listen to the interview with CY, the assistant coach from Florida State, with Chad Dollar, the assistant coach from UGA, they both made it known that, hey, we are more than recruiters.
Yep.
More than recruiters. And it was anonymous interviews. The coaches wanted to be left anonymous in their quotes because they felt like it could impact them possibly getting a job. But that was the one thing that they pointed out, that they felt like a recruiter, the word recruiter was code, derogatory. That it meant that they were there to go get kids that they were told to go get, and that they weren't good enough to be a part of practice. They weren't good enough to be a part of strategy. They weren't good enough to scout, right? I'm speaking on things that I don't know. I'm talking about what I've read in the report and what was said to me from coaches that have been on the show, right? And I'm not talking about off air. I'm talking about on the air, right? Here's one thing that stuck out to me too. Back to sometimes people can negatively impact a certain group of people without knowing that they're doing that or without trying to do that, which is a conversation I was trying to have with somebody else. One of the things that they pointed to, and this stuck out to me, that presidents and administration hiring search firms, right, to fill the AD position. The AD goes out and hires a search firm to help fill a head coach's position. Right? That the search firm may be familiar with certain people and not familiar with others. I'll just leave it there.
Gotcha.
And that was one of the things that they felt like that they pointed out. And we understand basketball is a close-knit community, that if you are in this kind of community, you do kind of know certain people and you may not know other people. I could see that being something that happens easily. We just so happen to have a former college coach sitting right here on our show.
I'm curious what you got to say. I'm very curious.
Without leading you in any direction, Coach, I'm just going to ask, based on what I've said, what I've read, what are your thoughts? Help us understand.
Thoughts as, is the article true? It is.
Okay.
There are many times people say an African American coach is a great recruiter, not understanding what that term means. when it comes to African American coach becoming a head coach, that can negatively impact them. Well, all he can do is go get the players. He can't coach them up. He can't make them better. He can't strategize. He can't do this. He can't do that. Or hurt, for that matter, if we're talking about, women's NCAA basketball. And I think that hurts. So that's why a lot of times, I think Chad Dollar said it. He said, I need to let you know I can coach. I can do this. I can scout. You've got to let people know that you can do those kind of things.
Help me understand. How can you be an assistant coach at a school every day, right? And you're wearing that school material all the time, and people not know that you can coach? How does that even happen? How did you get hired if people don't?
Because
know that you can
for a while, and it may still be going on, head coaches hire people that have certain niches. And a lot of times a niche could be, well, he can go get me some players. And when they go to the AD and or president and say, hey, I'm going to hire this guy as assistant when he or she gets the job, well, why? I know they can go find players. They're a really good evaluator. And that's the first thing that comes out their mouth. Not they do scouts very well, or they'll be really good with our guys on campus, or
So the main strong suit, they tell them, sets
and so it becomes a drawback for African American coaches. So
almost to the point where your relationships, and I'm quoting the article again, coaches felt like that their relationships, or what it took for them to get to that point, right? That they played, that they coached AAU, or whatever relationships that they had to get to that point where they could get that interview, are now being used against them in those cases.
right, and you got to realize that there are some staffs. I don't know if they're still there, but that's all a coach's job is to do. He's not There's nothing in his description where he's got to do a scout.
But do you
Unfortunately,
think some
or he
coaches
can miss as many practices he needs as long as he's out recruiting. On the flip side, there are coaches that say you're not going to miss a day of practice. I don't care who you're recruiting, how good a recruiter you are. You better be at practice. And every coach has a scout.
Do you think some coaches are cool just being recruiters?
If you're younger, maybe. At some point,
you
probably want to start to coach.
You want to be in that. You want to keep moving up. So you're cool. I can't answer. But I'm pretty sure.
I think.
Yes.
I would assume to say that a lot of people get into coaching is for the strategy. You know what I mean? But
Well, Bryce, you a coach, so if you had a chance to be a college coach, would you be fine?
I mean, I actually enjoy like recruiting. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I can get out there and talk to people. I can build my situation the way I want it to be. And that's kind of why I still do AAU. You know what I mean? Because I know, okay, I like his game, I can go get him. Or if I can't get him, I can get something similar to him. I kind of like that. So I feel like if I like it, I'm sure college coaches like it too. You know what I mean? But at the same time, when it comes down to it, I also like strategy. I also like teaching kids how to play basketball the right way.
Doesn't every coach like practice though? Do you not miss not being at practice every day?
I don't know. So here's something else I would say, and this is to all those coaches who. I would love to be a college coach, and I would love to just be able to recruit, and that's what they see, and they don't see the other part of it. You know, they don't see that there's no vacation.
Right.
They don't see that. Okay, we just played Villanova today, and as soon as we on that plane, or however we getting back, my laptop is open because I got the next scout.
Yeah.
And that next scout may be from a game they had today because I got to have the next 3 so I can know what they're doing. Or I got to make sure I got to go check classes for my guys.
Yeah.
Or I've got to, if you're not at a higher name institution, you don't have an academic advisor. You as a coach are one of the academic advisors to make sure they're graduating, they're going to class, they're doing all that. Then you're just trying to build, you as a recruiter, if that's the guy that you help bring into that situation, you have built a relationship with that kid. So now it's not just about when they come to practice. It's like a relationship that you continue to build and continue to grow. Then you might have a position group. What's your position group? You know, when I was at Alcorn State, mine were the wings. So you got to work those guys out, and you got to do all. Put it like this: I'll just give you I can't talk about anybody else. I can only talk about me. At Alcorn State, I was a recruiting coordinator, I was a travel coordinator, and I was over the wings.
Yeah, you had too many jobs.
I mean, that's a lot.
And- but I got it done, and you got it done.
Yeah, I get you.
Weren't you at Georgia Southern too?
And at Georgia Southern, yeah, you know,
Were you
So what
there?
was your position there?
that was basketball operations. So I did a lot of the travel stuff. So that's
That's
what
just
happened.
that's just one aspect.
Yeah, you don't have a basketball operations guy
Smaller guy,
at a
yeah.
smaller D1.
So-
And you definitely don't have it at D2.
So when we going out of town, we're using her.
Hey man, I did a 15-day itinerary one time.
Of get the hotel, the
We going out of
Airbnb,
town, we're using her.
the rental.
I just thought that was interesting. I don't want to step on
And-
anybody's story. I rather
Right,
coaches
and,
tell their own
and
story.
I'm just gonna say it like it is. So there are plenty of times in college basketball, and it's not even college basketball, sports period, that African Americans get used to fix a problem that had been going on at said institution, said organization, and once the problem gets fixed, they push that head coach out the way and get the next head coach in.
You talking that talk?
That's facts.
Wow.
I have a question that we didn't plan to talk about.
All right.
Do high school coaches get fired, and does that happen in high school?
Depends on what the school you're at.
Can you
Depends
get
on you can get fired
for
at
losing?
Yeah, for
yes
losing.
at some schools, because what is the tradition of that school? You see it in football all the time now.
True, you do.
Like they're not going to renew you're not going to be the football coach, and Lord forbid you're a PE teacher, because they finna really get you up out of there because they need that PE spot for the next football coach. But like it all depends on the tradition of the school. What do they really want? And not just and sometimes it's not just about how many games you're winning. It's about there's some administration schools about are we producing the right kind of people in addition to winning games.
I have questions. I have real questions. Like,
But it's also not just
I didn't plan to go here.
administration.
What about
administration at a-
assistants?
An administration, hold on. An administration at a high school has to really think about, okay, sometimes they got to choose. If he's a really good teacher, he or she is a really good teacher in the classroom, then they're going to get a break on, well, they ain't winning so many games right now. They may get a few more years than somebody else.
years.
Yeah, or it may even
Okay.
be the fact, like, especially if they're like a math, science teacher. Well, listen, maybe you just don't want to be the coach anymore, but you're gonna still teach there if that's what you want to do.
So you're telling me that there are
Your
schools,
contract is not about coaching,
your contract is based
about
on
teaching,
Teach-
and
okay.
coaching is additional.
A stipend.
The stipend, you know, I think that's where most parents,
Yeah.
most fans don't understand that high school coach is looking at from 8 to 4 is in a classroom trying to get students to pass their class,
Get the
whatever
class on time,
get the class
yeah.
on, whatever standardized test. 90% of the high school coaches. So,
that explains. I know why somebody has another position now. It explains it. You just hit the nail on the head.
and when you
Now I
do
get
it,
it.
assistant coaching is so hard,
I get it.
Bryce. Like,
So
You-
why are there so many, like, okay, last year, I feel like there were like 30 jobs open in GHSA, and I feel like maybe we're going to head toward that again. I actually went up and just asked Mike Thompson, was he going to retire, and he said no. He said he's coming back.
I'm glad you did. 'Cause
Yes,
people was
yes.
asking me that.
Why
like,
can't I
there-
ask?
There you go.
you
ask
asked him this today.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
asked
he
him
was
today.
at
He was at the camp today.
Camp.
I said, what's up to him? Told him I appreciate him. I appreciate him sticking up for his player and say, hey, coach, man, like, hearing you retire, man. I wouldn't blame you riding off into success. I said, are you leaving? He said no. But I'm assuming that there's going to be like 30 jobs open again this year.
See,
Why are coaches moving so much if they're not getting fired?
Better opportunities.
Location.
So when we talk about kids who transfer,
Yeah.
like, you got to talk about why coaches or not transfer. Why coaches take the job may be better pay, Maybe they don't have to teach 5 out of 6 classes in the classroom anymore. Maybe it's closer to their house.
Yep.
You know, so you've got, you know, maybe it's a dream job of theirs. Maybe it's their alma mater. There are people who will leave a great job and go to their alma mater because it's their alma mater. They're like, man, I get to go home.
True.
Or there are people from South Georgia who want to get to Atlanta. Or people in Atlanta who are from South Georgia that wouldn't mind going back home.
Why we be on kids transferring so bad? If you're telling me that coaches are not getting fired,
I didn't say they're not.
I'm saying if it's
No,
if
I know a
that's
coach
not
that got fired,
just-
but he took his team to the state this
if
year.
that's just
Championship.
Sheesh.
This year?
Yeah. Got fired from Central Connect. Well, I don't know if he got fired.
Oh, you've been to the state tournament.
No, he went to the state championship.
Football.
No, basketball. He wasn't there 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
I just had to ask that question. Let's get back to
But hold on. Bryce had right. He said, what about assistants?
Do assistant gets fired? Does the head coach fire assistants?
Yeah.
It depends. Because if that assistant works in the school and is a bad teacher, he may not have a choice but to get rid of him because that coach may not get his contract renewed. Now, if you're talking about community coach or, you know, that probably falls on the head coach. Or maybe that assistant, you think he's getting fired and maybe he's just moving for a better opportunity.
Well, Bryce, we ain't gonna know if you get fired or not.
Moving on.
I will say no words to that.
I have a lot of like this transfer thing and how we talk about transfers versus how we talk about coaches changing jobs is really interesting to me now. Now understanding that most of y'all didn't get fired, you left for the same reasons that probably that kid is trying to leave. They're trying to make it.
And I don't try to. If you'll probably never. A lot of times you don't even know if a coach got fired.
No.
It may say hey,
Nobody's
step
going
down.
to tell you. All right.
Slide into something else. Retreads. We just keep hiring these retreads. They do a good job of their land.
But on the flip side of that, how many you young coaches out there go get certified? Stop saying you want to be a head coach and you're not certified. It's not gonna happen.
And you know who you speaking to. I ain't
No,
gonna
I'm
say
not
it.
even. No, it's a
I
lot
know.
of them. It's
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
know.
them out like, well, I want to be. And you're a great coach, but nobody can hire you.
Yeah.
Gwinnett County, Clayton County, APS, Cobb, they're not hiring people because they need highly qualified teachers. And PE jobs are hard to find. That's my PSA now.
So that's the thing. A lot of people just not qualified. A lot of coaches, younger coaches.
It's a long process
It's
to
a
get
long
certified.
process.
Yeah.
You gotta be in for the long haul. Like, and nowadays the way when I first got into it, parents didn't say a lot.
They talking every 5 minutes now.
Yeah, so now players, everybody questioning everything you do, which I know we're gonna talk about later. But like,
Questioning every move.
are you mentally able to handle that?
If you coach at AAU, you will be. Be used to it.
Yeah, you get used to leaving.
Get used to. Hey man, I'm just
Hey,
saying.
I collect the jerseys after every game.
Get
No, you
get
got
used
to.
it. Get used to people questioning you. Get
You
used
never
to
know,
it.
somebody
Shoot,
might not
high
come
school
back.
coaches talk about you. If you coach AAU, you get used to it. Criticism part of the job. Okay, but let's go. I want to make sure we touch everything important. I want to shout out to a couple people who had great events. Huff, you want to tell us about Corey Black's camp at Macon?
Oh man, that was
Black.
C. Black's Making Dreams showcase that he has every year.
I apologize, Pete Black. I had to go to one of my stepdaughter's track meet.
He has it every year. Yeah.
That's a great story, by the way. I heard the story. That's a great story.
He has it every year, right before the state championships on that Saturday, and he had 47 guys there. Some a lot from Middle Georgia, but he had people from New Manchester, LaGrange, and
He had some hidden gems.
yeah,
every
he
year.
did Landmark. He had some. So want to kind of call some people out. Obviously, what can I say about Kowalski Reeves? like he's a top 100 kid that's at this camp
At
with
this camp, yeah.
and going hard in every drill.
He's been going to that camp since the seventh
Yeah,
grade.
you know, so
He just goes.
that's something I noticed, and I mean, like I said, there were kids there. I'm gonna start with this young 6'8" freshman
From Perry,
from
Georgia.
Perry, Georgia, Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Big kid.
That's gonna be a kid we're gonna find out about.
He's from where?
Perry.
Perry, Georgia.
Middle
How far is that away?
You know
That's
what a
Middle
Perry
Georgia.
Fair is?
You know what a fair is in Middle
Perry
Georgia?
Fair?
No.
No.
75 South.
How many hours will it take me to drive there to pick him up to play in the AAU tournament?
Hour 45.
Hour 45.
Oh, Perry. Hey, man. Look. What's that kid name again?
He's big. He's 6'9". He's
I mean,
legit.
and you
He's
like when I tell you every time the ball goes up, box is out.
Got a jersey that'll fit you, big dog. We're going to come put you on the stage.
So I really liked him.
He's good.
I don't understand why Colin Tarver out of Howard High School in Macon has nothing. Bouncy, makes the right plays. He had a really good camp.
I think some JUCOs starting to talk to him.
Yeah.
I've been hearing.
DJ Burks, LaGrange High School, 6'2" guard, could shoot it, makes right decision with the basketball, has some bounce. He was really good. Corey Black's kid, Travis Harper.
Deuce.
I
Deuce.
love
Deuce.
I really
6'4"
like that
wing.
kid.
Deuce.
Really like what I saw. Corey Black, I'm sorry, I got to put you on the spot. You better watch out for his team next year. He had a lot of players there, and I'm watching his kids. I'm going,
That kid can play.
all right. It looks like we got somebody who
Yeah.
is not in Metro Atlanta in single A private who can make some noise.
He building something. He building something.
Xavier Daniel, shooter out of New Manchester, guard, 2020 kid. Really liked him. He was really able to shoot the ball really well. I think we found us an up-and-coming coach at the camp. Not saying the kid can't play, but Sabian Tate out of Carver, Columbus, 2020. Like, when I tell you he coached his team every possession, like his team was winning. And somebody takes one of those camp crazy shots that you should, hey man, we up 15, what are you doing? Like, you don't hear that kind of stuff at
Nah,
camp,
you don't.
man.
I love it. I love it.
So,
I need to see him today.
We really liked him, man. So I really, it was good. Cam Daly was down there helping Corey Black doing
Shout out
a lot
Cam.
of the drill work. Cam does a great job doing the drill work stuff, and you know, I'll get to it later in what I learned, but take advantage of camps. I'll just leave it at that.
How was overtime?
I learned a lot about overtime in Macon from Corey Black.
Some people don't like it. I like it.
Nice old school music, you know.
Just a relaxed vibe.
Relaxed vibe,
Eat,
yeah.
Enjoy your food. Eat your wings.
The World Prep Invitational.
Oh man, that's our Kai Soto fans, huh?
Kai Soto fans, here's your moment. Anybody get a chance to catch it?
I was there.
Tell us. Inform us, Huff. What went down?
Players galore.
How was NBA Africa? Crazy? I heard it was crazy.
But you ain't even talking about NBA Latin America.
They were good too?
They won it.
They
Okay,
won
give
it,
it to
yeah.
us. Give it to us. Run it down. You got
All of
all
our-
the Philippines on the line right now waiting for your eval, Huff, so no pressure.
I mean, Kai Soto was Kai Soto. I mean, you watching him and you see what he does. I mean,
Let's
Kid
explain
is-
for the people who may not have seen him. Kai Soto is true 7-footer, or would you say he's 6'10", 6'11"?
true 7-footer.
True 7-footer with skill, with footwork,
yes.
with turnover left shoulder, turnover
I mean,
right shoulder.
Obviously, every kid. Anytime you talk about prep school kids, 9 times out of 10, or high school kids, they gotta get stronger. But
For sure. Yeah, he's got to put
Skill.
some weight on.
oh my God, skill.
Skill.
So,
Skill.
is he? I seen him once or twice. Would you put him up there with the unicorn?
I would love.
That's a good matchup.
That's a good
That's a
matchup,
good
yeah.
matchup.
We had this discussion before about prep versus GHSA, and I would love to see them play. I felt like the unicorn got a little more weight on him than Kai Soto has,
He does.
but both of them extremely skilled players. Now I don't know if Kai
I
Soto
would
can
like
shoot as well
right,
as.
right, and I would like to see does that dog come out of Kai?
Yeah,
That Walker showed, especially in the state tournament.
For
oh
sure.
yeah, he went at Jabari.
Yeah, we're gonna get to
yeah.
So, you had, like I said, all my Kai Soto fans, we just going to talk just to talk. Like, he's good. Like,
We know what he is. He's really, really, really good.
I'm just
Do
going
you
to.
think he's an NBA player?
Very possible. Very much. Like, everything's there if he continues at the progression he's going.
1 year, 2 year,
Yeah,
athletic enough?
The way, and here, let me say this. The way it's going right now is that I think in maybe 2 years, they're not going to be one and done. They're either going to say, I'm going to go play in the G League or I'm getting drafted.
So you see no
Yeah.
college for him.
If the way's going like that, no, he probably will just go play.
Continue to
Yeah.
develop. Gotcha.
The kid, and nothing against Kai, but the kid, Oliver Maxness, I think is how you pronounce it, from NBA Latin America. Kid's 17 years old.
Certified goon.
Clemson got him one.
Hey.
Got them one. He was MVP of the tournament. And there was no doubt about it.
No questions.
No question.
Hey, Hump's facial expression. That boy can
Obvious.
play.
Man.
Obvious.
And the fact that he's 7, and if you see his body,
So, Huff, we going on a recruiting trip to Latin America?
man,
What does it take to
I don't know. We made ask Trinity Christian. They get a lot.
figure out how to get one?
I ain't going to Latin America to watch no basketball.
Hey, that's
What you
why
gonna
I
be
love
watching?
this guy.
What
That's
you
why I
gonna be
love
watching? What you gonna be watching?
I
man?
ain't,
That's why I
y'all going to gym.
But I want to shout out to Rob Johnson for throwing an
He
incredible
did
event.
I mean, it was.
That's an incredible event.
When you talk about the way they are now partnering with the NBA academies
For sure.
and junior NBA,
That's big.
and to
He
get
does
the
big stuff,
and to
yeah.
get the NBA academies over here,
That's
and
big.
to have a tournament, and you get in tournaments like Virginia Beach Prep. I mean, they got players too. Like,
Yeah.
their school. Like, I'm watching some of these prep schools. I'm going, man.
Let's shout them out too because man,
Combine prep, Middle Georgia prep. Before
prep schools folding every day.
they are. But
So
before we talk about
CSF is still here.
before we and this is why I'm getting there. Hold on. This, and this is why I'm getting there. Rob said when he comes on, he gonna say it face to face. But he remembers the podcast when you said Middle Georgia was the best prep school. He said both of y'all.
Oh, I know. I
Said
said
Middle Georgia was the best prep
I
school.
thought they would
at that
beat them.
time. At that time, I did.
I thought
say
they
that,
would
yeah.
beat them.
He
I
said-
really did.
He said so every day he remembers that.
Rob, I don't blame you.
I don't blame him either.
I don't blame you. Hey, I would too. I would play it
Yeah.
back for my team if it was me.
And when you talk about TSF and what they've done to have different teams, to give people the opportunities,
No,
I saw Jalen Galloway at Sprayberry.
Yep.
And to see Jalen Galloway now,
totally different player.
I saw Kenny Burns do stuff that I didn't see him do in high school. Just being honest.
So he's becoming more than a knockdown shooter. Well, at
I-
times he
I-
doesn't knock down shots.
I saw him get off the floor.
Really? Got a little bounce.
Got a little bouncy.
That's what's up. I'm always happy for players continuing to improve, man. And that was a heck of an event. Like,
Oh,
I didn't
well.
get a chance to watch much
If,
of it.
if, if you can, this was an amazing dunk. If you've ever been to Holy Innocents, so they did a dunk contest on Saturday. And I wasn't there, but the very top of our gym, where like this is a brick wall,
Yep.
some kid throws it, it bounces off the ground, and the kid goes up. He might have. It's on Twitter and Instagram. So find the Skill Factory or something. I think you can find that dunk. Man, it's legit.
Let's get it. We're pushing. Bryce, Locke, any OTR, Super 64 call outs?
I don't want to just call out the kids on the cane. So, Locke, you want to go first?
Man, Sean had me doing the clock.
Well,
I just want to
Okay,
say, I
so-
just want to say this
Head
though.
coaching.
Another great event
It was a great event.
for
Yeah.
somebody who continuously puts kids on a platform. My kids,
No,
a
you
lot
know
of
what?
wide-eyed young
The kid-
players
the
out
young
there.
kids.
there was some good kids, real good kids. A kid
Shout out
from
to
Sandy
Nolan
Creek
Nelson.
was
Yeah, the
good.
Sandy Creek kid.
I think the
It-
2020 kid from McDonough, he played really well today.
Yeah, he did.
Dayon,
James, I think.
James, yeah, I'm sorry.
Played good.
But
I
yeah,
saw-
the kid from Sandy Creek was
Yeah,
He was
what,
playing
what I
like
liked about
a
today's
man.
camp is
Saw y'all kid from Kennesaw Mountain out there, Perry.
Yeah, he
Perry.
was good.
Yeah.
Perry played good.
What's his recruitment like? I wonder.
He just got.
He got Alabama A&M.
He's gonna blow up.
I think
he's gonna have a good spring.
Like, here
He's gonna blow a
he's
lot.
a kid. Like I know he can get better, but that's a kid. He go to the sweat.
Based off,
Woo! Do work.
based off, yeah, for sure. Based
Might
off
have
what
a
I
chance
saw
next
today, though,
Yeah.
I think he was clearly the best unsigned kid in the camp.
I can agree with that.
Got a motor.
And I mean, I don't know how many kids were there. There's quite a few kids.
He put up 40 versus McKeitron. What was it?
Yeah.
40.
But I've been looking for something different from him because I wasn't sure if he was a kid that just gets layups. You know what I mean? Like, is it all layups or is it how is he scoring the points? I think more so matters. And today I saw him slashing from the wing. I saw him hitting the jumper. I saw him dunking on people.
So he can
Saw a
score at
var-
all 3 levels.
I saw a variety of things. I think
He's
in
tough.
April.
He's just got a lot of toughness.
I think in April, if I put him on the wing, I think he'll show even more signs of being able to knock that 3 down, which makes him even more valuable.
I don't discount kids though that just play harder than everybody else.
And when he
So are, we
I
now,
feel
so,
like-
so are we now saying playing hard is a skill?
Playing harder.
Because I've said that, and
No,
people
yeah,
look at me like that was
it
crazy.
stands
Hey,
out.
I'm gonna tell you, Zion made me a believer. Right now, he's getting buckets just playing harder than everybody
Yeah.
else.
and that's kind of what he did today. I think at times because at hour 3, 4, 5, you're like at camps, you're like, man, my legs. But when he wanted to turn it on, that's what's kind of waiting to see. Like, I know you're tired, but I'm waiting to see what you're gonna do. When he wanted to, he dunked on some people. He made shots. He made, you know what I'm saying? He competed, and they were playing against
And
really
that-
good
that-
players.
I know we're talking about Sean. That brings me back to Corey Black's camp. Something I really liked about CB's camp, he plays it bracket style.
Yeah, I heard he did
That's
like
cool.
a tournament.
Like
format,
tournament format. Like
You
so
really
when you
compete.
start getting to it, you saw who was competing and who
gonna-
was
yeah,
like,
who's gonna
who was
hoop,
trying
yeah.
to win. For sure. Like, and it changed the whole level of everything up. Talk
Yeah,
to CB,
solid.
like
I think
that thing
I
was-
think Deion James will definitely sneak into somebody's little major program for sure. I mean, he was legit.
That kid can
Yo,
shoot, hit.
but we knew that he could shoot. The question was how athletic is he?
Yeah.
And today, physically, he was dunking on people.
Athletic enough.
He was dunking the ball. I mean, 2 hands, 1 hand. His upper body is solid. So I think he's gonna be good to go.
And I think what's great about today, we saw players that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
Like we didn't walk in there and
There
we
was
had to look.
there was a kid, and I know his number, but I don't know his name, number 41, and he was like, he swole, he was getting it done. So I mean, there was a lot of kids I'd never seen before.
And you know what? It was a lot of 8th graders there today.
Yeah.
And it was a kid, they played for the Georgia Canes, 7th grader.
Yeah.
Little guy.
Yeah.
Mondre, you watched that game. He was lining me up in the corner. And I can't remember his name. Short little guard in the
Left-hand
7th
guard.
grade.
7th grade.
Yeah,
Youssef
gave me
plays for the
6'3".
Georgia Canes
Yeah.
2024.
Gave me 6 threes. And
Kyle-
I'm looking at senior guards like,
Yeah.
y'all not finna guard this kid. He's in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
But no one didn't take
Kyle Jones looked
I
pretty
mean, he was
good.
shooting from the volleyball line too.
Yeah.
Like,
And you got to do that.
Kyle Jones was solid. All the Green Forest dudes, you know, they had a dunk show.
Nah. I ain't. Mine pissed me off. I don't know which one I hit.
I know which one you had.
Man,
He just-
was.
I thought he played okay. He's not as. They have one that's not as skilled as the other one.
It was,
Can we?
And if you compare them to like their development ain't been
It
on the
wasn't
same
the skill
page.
part. You see, I had a good guard. I had my
Yeah.
nephew Bam.
Yeah.
Every time the big man he wanted to push it up the court every time. And I'm like, just give it to the guard and run, and we're gonna
it's
give
camp.
it back to you.
It's camp, dog. Gotta get it off.
Boy, they was getting it off today. Boy, they was shooting their shot.
Yeah, they was shooting every.
Woo
they
wee.
was shooting. They
So
was-
crazy. The kids have no idea how bad they look when they do that. So guys, we're gonna take a quick break. For all you guys still listening, we're coming right back.
Are we getting to that smoke?
We are getting to the smoke. We're gonna
Who
take
want the smoke?
a quick
Who want the smoke?
45 seconds.
I
to
was
60
I was
second
told today that we
break.
can't talk about certain people,
I'm talking about whoever.
Hey man,
certain schools we can't talk about.
Why we can't?
Hit me.
That's what I was just told
Um,
today.
Hit me.
Hey, I know who told you that.
You're
Well,
gonna get Grayson.
he's gonna have the Bamas.
You're gonna get Grayson Willard talk. You're gonna get some coaching talk. We'll break down state champions. We'll talk about overall champion. We'll talk about a lot of stuff regarding the GHSA. We'll talk about the playoffs, some things that hey man, who lost we can't believe, and other stuff like that. But we're gonna take a quick break. Keep it locked. We coming back with it.
SUV TV at the CP3 Rising Stars campus.
SUV TV's 2019 NBA Draft Day coverage.
Anthony Edwards Collegiate Decision, presented by the Georgia Hoop Circle on SUV TV.
SUV TV brings the game to the audience.
You give a better focus on the actual game at hand. Sometimes you could tell it's just a running camera by itself sitting there, but with SUV TV, it's more of a personal experience.
Just the exposure, being able to see games that you normally wouldn't be able to see, not only here locally, but across the country.
Those angles make you pick up different things as a coach, as an evaluator. They're giving you great quality, nobody talking in the background. I think it brings basketball to the forefront.
Whether it's a family member that lives in a different state, they can watch the game, or just bringing in more coverage for these players, or if it just allows us to raise more money for something like Susan G. Komen. And so I think this event has grown because you guys have been a part of it the whole entire time.
SUV TV has given a different light to kids that don't always get the best exposure.
The commentary that goes along with the games, I think is always interesting.
Touchdown.
Yes, sir. It brings something to the table that no other streaming aspect can bring, no matter how hard they try right now.
Dayton Avian Williamson at the buzzer. That is how you get the Peachtree Corners Invitational started. And that will do it. Thanks for joining us.
You are anything but ordinary. You have your own path and your own potential to realize. At Augusta University, the advantages created by our diversity in thought, culture, and collaboration give you and us infinite opportunity. Together, we're changing our community, our campus, and our world. We are boundless. We are Augusta University.
The 360, he throws it down.
He'll come off the double screen to the left. Oh, and wide open underneath.
Sexton's gonna step back, fade away three. Oh my goodness! Colin Sexton!
In the lane by Tracy. Here's Williamson, makes his way around one tight. Now hustling in towards the lane and throws it down. That's what the crowd had been waiting on. A fantastic dunk coming in by Williamson. Trent, off balance jumper.
Nails it. Pierre to Gary Trent Jr. Oh my goodness! That's how you end the game, folks.
My man's a shout out.
I mean, he had his whole chest in the rim. I did say that.
But we ain't say his name though. Jens Ruckert.
Jens Ruckert had his whole, like, he did a windmill and put his chest.
He did have one
on the rim.
He did have one nasty dunk that I was like, whoa.
He did a windmill.
He took off down the middle. It was pretty serious.
I got my list of kids now.
He jumped.
Jacoby Coleman. Oh my bad, you still talking?
Nah. Jacoby Coleman. That name sounds so familiar.
Drew Charter.
Drew Charter.
Oh no, yeah, it's a Fayette County. My bad.
Oh, he was not missing. Yo, you know who he reminded me of? The kid from Purdue last year.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yo.
I hate to interrupt our Love Fest fellas, but we got to go.
Yo, he was not. Yo,
We gotta
he
go.
did not miss one shot.
One thing, Darryl Rice, who just won a state championship with Woodward Academy, was there.
I'm throwing in the towel.
All right.
Darryl Rice? I thought he went to Sandy Creek.
No, Sandy. Oh, that was
Yeah.
Sandy Creek. I don't know. I keep getting them wrong.
What you talking about?
See?
Long weekend.
That man didn't miss a shot though. You called that one.
And
Yeah,
y'all
yeah.
love Locke at Sandy Creek. and Y'all don't love me. But okay.
He might be the best
You
shooter
don't
in
even
the
know who
state.
play for you. First time listeners, one of our favorite segments. Tweet of the week.
Here we go.
And we have a couple. Y'all ready for Willa
Yo,
versus
Twitter
Grayson?
was
Impact?
booming.
Twitter, hey, dog, Twitter been going crazy. So
Yes, man.
My man Shet.
let's start off. All of our tweets of the week are heading in the same direction. So we are looking at a tweet from a friend of the podcast, somebody that we respect. Very
I won't
dearly.
call him friend too much because we go in on certain people.
He
He's
might be
coming
one
at
of
our
them.
head. FYI.
I don't know who certain people is.
All right, we gonna see. We'll see when he at you on Twitter.
Hey, man, there's no love. It's all good, whatever.
Oh,
I can take it. I understand. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Who we talking about?
Anyway, hey, man, look,
Oh,
let's pull up the tweet from Dez. Let's get started. All this secretive stuff. I don't know about this stuff. Dez said, hey, look who liked it first.
Mark Ellis.
If you want to know what it takes to win a state chip, it's player development. No coach in GA spent more time in the gym developing each and every player down to the last man on the bench than Coach Thompson, Coach Shep, Cam Sports. You have to make kids better. All caps, no cap.
Okay.
I agree. Player development should be a bigger focus. But that is a point leading to
Not everybody
another
can do it.
point.
Okay.
Okay. Another tweet.
Let's keep going.
Oh, okay.
We got
Let's
more
keep
tweets.
going.
We got more tweets.
The next tweet is from assistant coach, Coach Shep.
Shout out to Coach Shell. We came to camp today.
Shout out to Coach Shep. That's another one.
fresh
where-
off a state championship, he did pop his head in there.
Look
Real-
at that.
he had a different walk, a different feel. I can see it from across the gym when you get that state championship bop. You get that little bop. Like,
Yes.
Can I just want, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Let me pop in here real quick and see what I see.
It's one of those two. Yes. There we go. Hey, look, shout out to our producer, man. This
Oh,
is-
man, he
this
was
is
going
great.
in. He was really going
Okay, so let me set the tone of what's going on here. Apparently, Hillsman had not been picking
Willard.
Willard to win.
Many people didn't.
Apparently,
A lot of people did.
a lot of people did.
A lot of people did.
But apparently, you know, hey, Hillsman had a lot of pictures with Willard after the game. You didn't pick him, but that's my boy though. He good. Hey man, I
He down
gotta
the hall. You might
I
wanna chill
gotta
out.
give. No, I gotta give Hillsman credit where credit is due though. Like when listening to his shows, he knows a lot about.
Yeah,
these
I
teams.
mean, I
He
think-
does. He spends a
knows
lot
a
of time in
lot about
gyms, man.
these
teams.
He spends a lot of time in gyms.
Most
Whether you
people-
agree with him,
Yeah.
disagree with him, you've got to respect his opinion regardless.
Most people pick.
Hey,
most people would've
Hillsman
picked
was
Grayson.
on my head about picking South Cobb.
Yeah,
and it
exactly.
turns out that Hillsman was right.
What was he right about?
I was picking South Cobb, and
And he was
Hillsman,
picking-
Hillsman was like, no. And
Who did he
South
pick?
Cobb didn't win.
Who did he pick?
I can't remember who he picked, but he told me I was crazy with some of the stuff I was saying about South Cobb. He was right. If we
Wow.
go back to the tweet, the point that I was trying to make, hey, peep Shep trolling Hillsman at the bottom of that tweet saying, hey, dog, how much you got us losing by?
99.
And look, then he says, hey, that ass, no Shep from New York. Especially since we were supposed to lose in every round. What's the spread? He asked Hillsman what the... I'm getting somewhere. I promise you with these tweets, I'm getting somewhere.
All right,
So
where we
keep
going?
building it up. Keep
I'm building it up. I'm building my case like a lawyer. Here we go. Last tweet from Hillsman. Last week. Here we go.
Y'all wildin'.
This is good. Coach Mike Thompson firmly said after the win, coaching matters. And he's absolutely right. Many don't always think so, but Thompson proved it this year. Not having her starting point guard for the last 2 months and still win the title. So he got something out of those other guys.
Got one more tweet.
Right, is that it?
That's it.
So we ain't talking about Chris Watkins tweet.
About the coach in high school? Yeah, coach in high school, yeah.
Not going to get there yet.
Oh, yeah.
Because of these.
Okay.
That kind of took precedence over that.
Okay.
But Chris did have a good one. Here's the question that I wanna pose, right? I got asked questions, or we were asked questions. Was Coach Thompson taking a shot, Coach Pierce, after winning the state championship when he said coaching matters?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
He doesn't, and I don't even think he would even.
He's not that type of guy.
He's not that type of person, but I don't think he would put that attention towards taking it off of me winning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Putting it somebody else
100%.
on.
I agree.
100%.
I don't think he was even about it. I think he was just saying, really, like, this is the hand we've been dealt. This is the kids I have.
And I
this
coach
year.
my guys up.
And we have a process. This was our process the whole year to get him to this point. Whether I lost my point guard, whether I had this person, this was how we played the game.
And we coached them up.
And we coached.
The flip side of that is I'm fortunate that if somebody doesn't know Coach Thompson, doesn't know a lot about Wheeler basketball, and you look at that tweet,
you're going to make an assumption.
you can make a totally asinine assumption.
But the one thing that I want to point out is that there's no context to that tweet.
Most tweets don't have context.
Well, but what I'm saying
It's like a text.
What I'm saying is it's even worse because in that tweet it was coaching matters. It wasn't that that's all he said. There was a lot around the tweets that were Hillsman's thoughts. But we took coaching matters that may not have. That's not a complete sentence. I'm sure.
And that's my
that's
point.
not all Larry said.
And that's my point. Like what was said before, what was said after, which could really,
or even in that one sentence.
right? So,
but me seeing that immediately, how I took it, I never took it as a shot at Pierce at all. My ticket is I just want to stay championship.
So
I'm about
you're
to talk
telling
that
me,
talk. That's
but and me and you had this conversation. You said you just said they just talking and talking. I said anytime. I said because of the way it came out, somebody could view it as he's taking a shot.
So what y'all are saying is that tweet has a lot of different ways you can
interpret it.
I think it has to be.
What y'all are telling me is that the person could be saying that the other coach didn't coach.
That's how I think a lot of people.
Some people could view it like that, and I guarantee that's not what Larry Thompson is saying.
Nah, I know he's not. I know, but I'm just saying there's so many different ways you can break that tweet down.
Right.
I don't think it's any of those ways, but I mean, for somebody who doesn't know them, who's just on Twitter, yeah, they could. But I don't think it's like that. I think it's just he's just saying like this is us.
I took it as somebody that was supremely confident going in before that game even happened.
Mm-hmm.
That like I don't know what y'all talking about, but like they say, you weren't with us shooting in the gym.
But you
like we've been going to Desmond's tweet. We've been at this all year long with this expectation. We're not afraid of them.
Right.
That's what Coach Shep's tweet said.
If you've been watching Wheeler from the beginning of this year, and you notice how they played this year, I think you shouldn't be surprised the fact that they won.
100%. They ain't scared of them
because.
I think people were surprised.
They were surprised they beat Grace.
Because they're surprised because they really didn't watch the game. They didn't really watch their.
Well,
they didn't really watch their rotate on defense every time and move the ball.
But here's the other part. And
I
understand that. But you also got to realize how good Grayson was, of why people didn't believe that was going to happen.
Yeah. No, I think it's fair.
I'm not.
Yeah,
it was 100% fair.
But when you're a 7A basketball coach and you've already won state championships or whatever the case may be, you know that you only have to beat somebody one time.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have to beat them by one point.
We've said that.
So, a couple of things that we talked about on this show as well, right? We talked about, again, how much pressure was on Larry to win, being, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
every job is different. You're at Willard. There's a lot of pressure that comes with that, right? Willard hasn't
That's championship
won
number 7.
a state
So, yeah.
championship in what, 10 years? Longer? It's been a minute, right? Since they
No,
Willard.
since they beat
Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown.
It hasn't been 10 years.
That hasn't been 10. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I
Probably
forgot about
about
the Jalen Brown.
6,
My bad.
maybe.
My bad, Dez. I forgot about
But
that.
it's it's championship number 7.
It's their time.
Championship
though,
number
yeah.
7.
Yeah. It was their time.
At a school that is expected to win big, at a school that even though you had a McDonald's All-American, things didn't pan out the way I think people expected it to, right? But we've talked about on this show how that adversity, at least for me, I felt like it made Larry a better coach. I felt like all of those expectations and the bright lights brought the best out of him. In my
What I
opinion.
saw is a team that epitomized Larry Thompson.
Sit down,
Lunch
guard.
pail, sit down and guard.
100%.
I
Man.
told anybody that listened to me, said if that score was 60, and under 60, I didn't tell you that.
We talked about
I
that,
said
We talked
Willard
about
was
that.
going to win the ball game. And it was nothing against Grayson was an up-tempo team.
Grayson's probably not used to playing.
wanna
that
get
type
out
of
and
They
run.
want to get out and run. Even when they made the run, when they were down 40-31,
Yep.
they started pressing. They got turnovers, and that thing flipped like that. And it was up and down. And next thing you know, Willard was looking up and
I didn't think that Willard was going to win this game, right? I'll come out and say
Mm-hmm.
that. I did not think that they were going to win this game. But I had been saying throughout the season, even when they lost to other teams, like when they lost to South Cobb, I was saying before the South Cobb game, man, this is the best coaching job that I felt like
you
Larry
realize
had done.
Larry and them played.
They were one of my favorite
Larry
teams
and them
to watch
played.
when we were in
Larry and them
Milton.
played
Like,
a.
this was
Larry
they
and them
played good basketball.
They played a
They
schedule.
did have a skill.
Touchdown, St. Francis,
that's
South
their first
Cobb, Milton,
Milton.
Grayson. This is during the season now,
During the
and we're not
season.
even talking about the gauntlet they went through in the playoffs. Shiloh, Milton,
Battle
like
tested.
I'm just. Ooh.
They played everybody, and they were different after Isaiah Collier went down. They were different, but they were still good.
I guarantee you. And when
They
you
were
go back,
still
if you
good.
go back to there's this tweet that said player development from everybody from the top to the bottom. If Larry Thompson was sitting here right now, and it was what day we start practice, October 21st.
Yep.
And you said Nash Kelly is going to lead you to a championship. He probably would have looked at you like.
Hey, but bro,
Yeah.
we
Oh.
gave.
But that's why they in the gym. And
Yeah.
We gave him
Reyes
credit.
Davis.
Mm-hmm.
We gave him credit for going to the bench and how he was able to get production out of a lot of young guys early in the season.
They-
Going to the
and
bench.
before we get
That's
off
scary.
there,
They all have most of them back.
but
Most
before
of
we
those
get
guys
off
come
there,
back for sure.
Sam Hines.
Hey,
What Denver is getting?
as I call
man.
the kid with the purple shoes.
He only missed like one shot, right?
that kid with them purple
Bruh,
shoes.
the
can
15
hoop.
footer that gave him the lead or whatever. Like, come on, man. The dunk, like, I mean,
Bro, I've said it again, and people call me crazy. It would not surprise me at all that kid becomes a pro. Just
he will be.
how he moves, man.
No,
That-
Yeah, he will
We
be.
gotta
That kid with
shout-
them purple shoes,
We
fire.
honestly have to shout out Willard entire staff.
Got to.
they got a great staff.
Marquise Wright, Shep. Them guys be in the gym, man.
Got it done.
All
They
the
work.
time, Yeah.
They work.
Got it
They
done.
be in the gym all
And,
the time.
and my
But we-
thing is that to me, right, when I saw Shep post that, how much you got us losing by, that gave me a little cause to pause because to me, that told me internally what their conversations were like. If he was going to say that on Twitter to Hillsman knowing everybody was going to see it, that kind of let me know what them conversations was like behind closed doors. They were coming, and they felt that they were going to win the entire time, which plays a big part in it.
And so as we're bigging up Larry, I'm trying to see how to put it because I know there are people out there. First off, I'd actually think maybe Georgia can get 2 teams in GEICO.
Oh no!
You got every state can't play in it. Number one, Bryce.
Geico. Ugh.
I'm just saying.
Been up there, so
Ooh-wee.
I'm not saying I ain't saying how they're gonna do. I said
So what
they
you-
should.
what
It's
you
Willard
team-
and Grayson.
I don't know.
It's possible. So if you see it, don't be surprised. Second
I'm
part.
not
I don't think it's possible because
I don't think it's
if
possible.
Tiff didn't go that year, that they win.
But what Tifton's out of, they won the state championship, but they didn't have the resume that Wheeler had, or Grayson.
True. Well, with Grayson,
But hey,
If Wheeler's healthy and maybe Isaiah Collier, I say
You know that game is not until the end of March. April.
it's
basically.
spring break. Yeah, it's April.
we got to keep going.
All right. And
I would give Grayson. I would give Grayson a bid though.
For sure.
yeah.
I mean,
All right,
they,
all right,
what
keep
they
going.
did with the year.
Keep going.
As we talk about championship teams, right, this coaching conversation came up. And I almost hate to have this because we're on so little time. Coaching does matter. Winning state championships does matter. We've often talked about, especially early in the podcast, not so much as we've been on SUV TV, our Mount Rushmore for coaches, right? And it's a tough list to come up with a Mount Rushmore even for coaches. But like once you used the word GOAT at one time. At one time.
That might have been me.
I think
I said that might have been him.
it might have been Bryce. Okay.
Bryce
We use
said
the
that.
word GOAT, right? And I think nowadays we use that word
overuse the
GOAT
word, yeah.
in a plural form, right? Like he's a GOAT. He's a GOAT.
Many different people. Yeah.
He's a GOAT.
Right.
He's a GOAT, right? Can we definitively say that there is a GOAT, as in a greatest of all time when it comes to coaches?
Georgia High School.
And would anybody be willing to say that that person is Sherman White?
I'm not going to ever discount anybody that has 8 championships.
Facts.
6 in a row, 7 at one school, then you go to a different school and you still win.
So you saying he's the GOAT?
I mean, I can't. He's one of the ones, in my opinion. He's just like, to me, I think Eddie Martin's one. Eddie Martin won at Norcross, won at GAC, won at Buford.
Let me toss some names. Let me toss some names into the circle.
I mean, no matter how crazy people may think David Boyd is, Milton, Tucker. I'm just speaking fact. Doug Lipscomb. Come on, like I can keep going on.
I've often put Coach White on the Mount Rushmore, and I think that's what you're going at. Mount Rushmore for sure, right? But I want to add some names to the conversation real quick. Duck Richardson for Southwest Macon.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Won 83% of
Yes.
his games, almost 84%.
There's no doubt.
6 state championships, 463 wins.
Before you even get to the next one, Coach Boston.
Willie
Boston.
Boston.
Yes.
6 state championships.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Coach Frill McCrary.
Yes.
At Columbia, over 600 career wins, 5 state championships. And then Eddie Martin, 782 wins and 8 state championships. I don't know.
So that's why I said you
that
can't.
I can say
put, yeah.
that Coach White is over those guys definitively. I don't know that I can say that. It's a lot of winning.
Why you saying
But
you
White
can't-
has 8
why you saying
championships.
you can't put? Why are you saying
Now-
you can't?
Hold on, listen to me. He's got 8 championships, and he took 3 years off to go to college.
But wait. Here's the thing, though.
And he won there even as assistant.
Here's the thing, though. Here's my point. Here's my point when it comes to Coach White. And 100% respect, right? He is a living, walking, breathing legend in coaching.
Fact.
100%, right? And I almost got to give a disclaimer before we go to this conversation because of how good I think he is. But his career's not done. We don't know if he's going to be able to continue at this pace.
You about to make me cuss.
Hey, I'm
That train, you think that train's going
I'm
down?
with y'all.
He's at least he's probably gonna win next year
Look,
too.
there's nothing.
He got all them
He's going
kids
to
back.
double A.
Now, there is nothing that's going to
He's
be.
going to double A. He's going
Yeah,
to
they-
double A.
they-
Are they
Is
going
that
to double?
stronger?
They are double A
Is
now.
that tougher or harder?
I mean, they'll be in the same region. They'll be in the same region with Thera.
I am going to throw this out here too,
That'll be there.
because we had this conversation. This conversation deserves to be had. I would love to hear Hillsman and those guys talk about this too. Not all state championships are created equal, because not all classifications are as hard as other classifications. Like Huff, you talked about being in single A when single A was full of dogs, right?
Okay,
And
but-
I'm not always gonna say that 7A is better than single A because y'all had a lot of players in single A when you was coming through.
I agree. Yeah,
Now-
some years is
Just like
it's up and down, but to win a state title, man, it's
hard.
It's
To win a
hard,
state-
man.
to win a state
it's
title
hard.
is
I'm
hard.
not gonna say it's
But
easy.
sometimes-
I'm saying that there are levels.
I
to
remember.
This, is all I'm saying.
Listen. I even
there
remember.
not?
I remember Huff at Duluth coming to watch Westlake early in the season when we had Truma, Dan Luce, and all them dudes to start his scouting report for 7A. So, what Madre is saying has some validity. Like it's not like
It's not all created equal.
You got to go through Pebblebrook sometimes. You got to go through North.
I mean, I will agree. So my 3 years in
There's a
7A,
level of difficulty.
the
Then
3 years I
Duluth,
lost,
when
the
you're
3
there.
years I lost in Duluth, I lose to Colin Sexton,
Mm-hmm.
I lose to B.J. Boston and Kyle Sturdivant, and JoJo Toppin at Norcross.
Loaded.
And I lose to Meadow Creek with Jameer
Loaded.
and the kid that's at UAB and the kid that's at Temple. So, yeah, 7A probably will always be loaded. But does that decrease the championship?
I don't think 7A is necessarily always harder, though.
I'm not saying always harder, but it's going to be like this year was one of the loaded years in 7A.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, but just because you win at 2A doesn't mean it's different than winning at 7A. You know how many people want to win? Want this right here? You know how many people want this?
Hey, but here's the thing what I'm saying. Not every school, when we talk about our champion of champions, when we talk about a 2A school, Barrow's a 2A school that could go play anybody. True. What you trying to do?
But
Robbie Healthy? What y'all trying to do?
Right.
But not every school can do that.
And they had to build that. From
Not every school can go do that. Now, I'm just being honest. Not every champion can go do that.
But you can't discount a champion that
We're not
can do that. True. Just because their classification may not be as strong that particular year.
I'm just having, hey, look.
I know, but I'm just.
Hey, look.
we don't know what Waynesburg can really do.
We talk about this at different levels. We talk about it in the NBA, right? People said the East was weak for a long time. LeBron got to put a little different respect on his name now that he's doing it in the West, and they're still the number 1 seed, right? Like there are levels, and that's all I'm saying. There are levels of difficulty.
It's harder
when you were trying to win.
Get that,
again,
sure.
last conversation. We'll keep it moving because I think this is a bigger conversation that we need to have when we have more time. Draymond Green is talking trash to Charles Barkley right now because he has rings and Charles Barkley don't. Saying that Charles Barkley don't got a seat at his table and all that. Draymond, you are nuts if you think you are a third, a fifth of what Charles Barkley was as a basketball player because you won a championship. All championships ain't created equal. You did not have to play Michael Jordan to try to get one.
And his team was stacked.
Level of difficulty is different. That's all I'm saying.
All right. That'll be for we'll have to continue this.
Huff, when you had Kobe, listen to my last name. When you had Kobe Simmons and Kaiser
and Malik,
who did you guys play to win those state championships? Like Green Forest and.
So we lost to Green Forest with Toshin. What was it, Mahenti, who went to UAB, and that's when Precious and them were freshmen. But to get there, we had to beat Ahmed Hill. Like, who went to Virginia Tech. North Cobb Christian was loaded with kids. Stephon Jelks and all those guys. Whitfield still had kids. And then the year we won, we beat Eric Lockett, NC State. Who else was on the...
What classification was St. Francis? When you
we're single A, private. And then that year we had to beat Turtle Jackson, who was at Athens Christian. And you still, like...
I get you saying. I mean, so fair enough.
Think about when Moultrie was on the show. He talked about 6A this year.
Yep.
6A was tough.
And you go think about the Chattahoochees and the Laniers and the South Cobb and who else was in the Final Four of that group? Tri-Cities, Langston Hughes,
I'm sorry, we don't
Tucker.
And we don't have time to get into this like we're supposed to. Moultrie let one get away. We got to be consistent. I love Moultrie. I don't have nothing against Moultrie, but we said it at the beginning of the year. Hey, Moultrie, if you don't win, it's on you.
It's on you. Yeah, we did say that.
Let one get away, Mo. I know he's sick right now. I'm sick for him. I'm sick for the program. I'm sick for that community.
That's gonna get to when you get to that tweet. So I'll let that go.
But you can't. I mean,
it's hard. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
It's not easy, and he wasn't playing a bad team.
Are you?
But one got away from him.
Why are you sick? they made it to the Final Four.
One got away. I'm sick for the community because as a state championship team, you're 4 minutes.
It was a state championship team.
4 minutes left in the game. You're up 15.
Say that. You're not a guaranteed to win a state championship.
No
matter how few.
Wait.
They should
At the tip-off, it's not a guarantee that you're going to beat
Lanier was really good.
But you're up 15.
Chattahoochee was really good.
You're up 15 going to the fourth quarter.
I get you. Didn't get there.
Up to the 15
That's
points.
probably the biggest. Yeah. They probably did.
Or was the way that they didn't get there?
Yeah, it's that they had it. Like you played well enough to win the game. That's all I'm saying. You played well enough to win.
You can taste it.
You were there. You were there.
Andrew McConnell. And big shot, Andrew McConnell.
Hey, man.
Big shot.
You got to play till the clock hits zero. Got to play till the clock hits zero. But I am, for that community, like, stand behind that program the way that community does. Moultrie has, I got to give credit where credit is due. Guys like George, guys like Moultrie that go into a community where a lot of people don't want to go and build something great. Like, it's hard. And those communities appreciate those championships a little bit more.
I had this conversation just yesterday. Moultrie was the right person to come after Chris Watkins.
He was.
Chris Watkins did what he did there.
Yeah.
And it was the right person. Like, people don't understand. First year Moultrie gets there, they win. He went through 2 or 3 years where he was struggling. And most people bail.
They do.
And he built that thing.
Still got to say it, dog. We just got to be consistent on this show, dog. Like, that's my only thing.
Okay.
You had the team. You had the game.
Get the Chris Watkins tweet. Get the Chris Watkins. All right, whatever we got.
Got away. We're going to take a quick 30-second break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about what if we did have a single elimination tournament? What if we could fix anything that we feel like is wrong with the way the state championships are run right now? What are our lessons learned from our trip to Macon, from watching the state playoffs?
Oh, I did some research.
Here we go. We'll be right back. A quick 30 seconds this time. Stay tuned.
You are anything but ordinary. You have your own path and your own potential to realize. At Augusta University, the advantages created by our diversity in thought, culture, and collaboration give you and us infinite opportunity. Together, we're changing our community, our campus, and our world. We are boundless. We are Augusta University.
Back. A quick church announcements. The In the Lane All-Star High School Classic is March 14th at Willard High School. Of course, doors open at 4 p.m. 15 for adults, 10 for kids. Definitely a good event. Great rosters put together, boys and girls event this year. Also, we have the inaugural 3B4, 24 boys teams, 8 girls teams. You have a chance to win $1,000 for your high school athletics program with a first-of-its-kind 3-on-3 tournament. Tips off for high school 3-on-3 teams is March the 27th through the 29th, 2020. You could go to thesuvtv.com/3B4 for more information. Those are our church announcements. So, fellas, let's talk about quickly, if we were to do a single elimination bracket, and we're talking about to try to find a true champion, let's quickly run through how we would do it, what teams would be in based on what criteria, and hope you took a stab at it.
I took a stab at it. I said 12 teams. Obviously, your 8 champions would be there. And you had 4 at-larges. So you really had to think about teams. I only chose 4 at-larges who played for a state championship. So that was the criteria.
So you had to get there.
So then you had to look at the body of work of those 4 who played. So
I got you. So let's name off the 8 champions for those who may not understand.
So we tried to seed these 8 champions based off their schedule and who they beat. Yeah. Obviously, the 1 seed would be Wheeler. The 2 seed would be Woodward Academy. The 3 seed would be St. Francis, and the 4 seed would be Pace. And some people may say, well, how does Pace fall below those 2? Well, those 2 beat Pace.
Okay.
Willard beat St. Francis. I had to do some homework on this. But those 4 teams get buys in the first round.
Okay.
So then this is where it gets a little interesting. So the 5th seed is Locks Boys, Dutchtown. The 6th seed is Chattahoochee, which some people may say I have too low too. The 7th seed is Swainsboro. And then the 8th seed is Hancock Central. So those are your 8 champions.
Okay.
So I don't think anybody would have a question with Grayson being the 9th seed as a large team.
No issue.
So this is when you start getting tricky after that. Your 10th at-large team, I said would be Green Forest. Just body of work. Your 11th team is Thurl, which I know Locke said, I don't know if Robbie's not playing. I don't know. And so you could only go 12. So now I said you got to have a playing game with Cedar Shoals and Lanier. So I don't know. But if we laid it out like that, that's what we got. So you're looking at first-round matchups of Hancock Central versus Grayson. Obviously, Grayson wins. I shouldn't say obviously, but Dutchtown versus either Lanier, Cedar Shoals.
Ooh. I'm going to go with Dutchtown.
It's a good game, though.
Swainsboro versus Green Forest.
I think Swainsboro.
I think Swainsboro might win that.
I think they can win that.
And then Chattahoochee versus Thurl.
Chat.
All right. So now let's start.
Wait, Chat, even if Robbie playing?
Hey, man.
Not beating him with Robbie playing.
I don't know. The way Chattahoochee was playing in the state tournament.
Chat played well.
Yeah.
And Roman's son go.
Yeah, that'll be that's a matchup right there now.
I'm going to say this now.
Okay,
AJ White is
AJ White.
the best point guard in 2021.
There it is, fellas.
AJ White.
You say he's the best point guard in
He's the
2021?
best point guard in the 2021.
I saw him do some stuff in that Final Four game, and
He's a bucket.
I'm sitting by some people, and I'm going, wow.
The owner-operator of the best dribble pull-up in all of GHSA basketball, and I'm willing to argue with anyone, is AJ White.
Lil Hibachi. What is your new name? AJ White, Lil Hibachi.
Okay, let's push. I feel like I'm just going to call it like this. We don't have to go through and pick the winner, right? Or we can just pick a winner. The only thing I feel like is you gave Wheeler a bad draw is because if Grayson wins, they're going to get Grayson again. Thank you very much for giving me the number 1 seed, and I get Grayson.
Well, Grayson is the ninth. You got 8 state champions.
True.
They're the best at-large team left.
So how do you give Grayson the number 9 seed, but then want to give him a bye to Geico or a bid?
Because you got to put state champions up. This is just for this.
This is for Georgia. Yeah. That makes sense.
I feel like Wheeler should have played like the number.
Wheeler should be thrown back into the fire with that.
That's tough. That's tough. But okay.
Think about a Dutchtown. Think about a Dutchtown pace game.
Let's.
I mean, whoa, let's get that.
I would love to see Cam Bryant on Matthew Cleveland.
Me too. But let's push though. Let's push. Overall winner out of this single elimination bracket. We know who all the teams there. We understand how they're seeded. Who wins? Are we going to disrespect the 7A champion Wheeler and say that they don't come out of this?
Or do you say whoever wins that game?
I'm going to say either.
I can't say that.
I know. I'm sitting there like,
I like Woodward.
And you still got St. Francis, man. Hey,
it's I like St. Francis.
I know.
This is tough. It's kind of hard.
That's tough.
This is why we should have it. I can't even give you
Let's
one.
talk about it.
You did also come up with a way to fix or improve the state tournament. Let's give us a rundown of that.
So if anybody knows about the state tournament this year, game started on Wednesday. It's during the week at 2 o'clock, I think. So how many fans are getting there to Macon? Not very many. So why don't we have all the state championships, number 1, on Friday and Saturday? And why is football games always broadcast and the basketball games not? Yeah. So
because they don't love us.
Well, we finna have some love. So we're gonna have. First, let me get to the games. So your 6A and 7A state championship girls and boys will be at Georgia Tech on Saturday, which they have been before. But geographically, that's where most of those teams are. No disrespect, South Georgia.
No, you're good.
All good. Let's push.
All right. Your 1A private and 5A state championships will be in College Park Arena on Saturday. That's where both those teams are geographically located.
College Park Arena is a great spot. Let's go.
Your 3A and 4A state championships will be in Milledgeville at Georgia College and State, geographically located.
I agree with
I got it.
And that's on Friday. And then your 1A public and 2A state championships. I know I took out North Georgia. I just said I'm going to go to Macon because that's where those places are geographically located. True. On Friday. You fix everything with that. And you can get people to get to the games and watch them.
This is why you need a recruiting and travel coordinator handling the GHSA tournament. I think.
And then how you also fix it is so GPTV gets one site each day, and SUVTV, our guys, get one site each day. How about that?
And you get special coverage from the Love of the Game podcast. I love it.
There you go. So I don't know what we got to do to fix it, but there you go. I spent my time working on it.
I love it, man.
Good job.
I
That
love
was
it.
solid, real solid.
Definitely. Okay. 3-minute warning, fellas. We've actually made it out of this podcast alive.
I know, right?
We made it out of this alive. 3-minute warning. We going things I learned and stuff. Got something to say.
All right, things I learned. I'll go quick. High school players, remember, you are not just battling high school players in your state. You're battling high school players in all the states. You're battling prep school players, who I just saw in a tournament. You're battling JUCO players. And if the rule gets passed like it should, you'll now be battling college transfers who don't have to sit. So you better understand that every time, as CB and Cam said yesterday at camp, is a job interview. Every time you step onto the court. Number 2, we watched Woodward early on in the season, and we knew they were going to be good then. They play basketball the right way. But we got to put some respect on Michael Whitmore's name.
We have.
We have, but that he need more, man. 13 points, 6 rebounds, 6 steals, 5 assists in the title game. We can talk about the unicorn. We can talk about Emery Lanier. We can talk about Will Richard. Michael Whitmore deserves some respect.
That's facts.
I love Atlanta. I'm Atlanta born. I'm Atlanta bred. When I die, I hope
I got you.
But there is something about seeing small towns represent their schools in a state tournament. They come out. It's different.
It's different.
It's different, man. It's different. So I just wanted to say that. Physicality at the next level, high school players. That JUCO championship game, it was physical. And if you ain't ready to play physical ball, you're in trouble. And last thing, stop turning your nose up to exposure camps. Corey Blacks, Chris Watkins, On the Radar, Seba, Hoop Scene. I can keep going on. Like, just find the one that's good for you. You never know who's watching.
No doubt. Lock, you got 1 minute, big dog. Let's go.
South got something to say. You put a picture up there.
No pick, let's get it, dog. 1 minute.
No, this is the best All-Star game in Georgia.
Oh.
Nobody say
That's EJ,
Albany
right?
State University.
EJ Brown does it.
Shout out to my
Albany
new,
Sports,
my
yeah.
bro.
It's a
Sorry, bro.
weekend event. It starts with Friday afternoon with the celebrity game, and I mean by celebrities like local people doing stuff around the city. I played in it 1 year. After that, you have the Rising Stars game for the junior class. You do it for girls. He does it for girls and boys on Friday. He comes back Saturday morning with the elementary All-Star game with the top elementary school kids from South Georgia and got some from Middle Georgia. Then he come around with a girls' elementary school game. Then he comes around do a cheerleading event, a dance competition. Then after that, he does a middle school All-Star game for the girls, middle school All-Star game for the boys. Then he ends it with the
Dunk contest.
no, not dunk contest. He does all that Saturday. Then you still have the senior All-Star game for the girls, senior All-Star game for the boys, and you have the junior class All-Star game for the girls and All-Star game for the boys. And all this is in 2 days.
That's loaded.
One event. So ton of players. I always go because I can watch all the guys I want to see in one event. And it's going to be at Albany State West in Albany, Georgia, this Friday and this Saturday. So shout out to E.J. Brown hosting the best All-Star game in the state of Georgia, and he's been doing it for years. Any top players that you could probably name, the Reggie Perez, Kevon Morris, Chase Hunter, Tyreek Crump, Anthony McLemore, Jordan Harris, all these guys have played, Kowalski Reeves, all these guys have played in this All-Star game.
All right, man. Big guys doing big things, man. That's our time for today. We getting out of here. I just want to quickly shout out Coach Tim Kiefer from Carlow University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for the shirt. Appreciate you guys for coming by our practice, coming to check out our kids, evaluating us as coaches, evaluating our players. I just appreciate anybody coming by and giving us some game and making sure that we're doing the right thing with our kids is very important, and taking time out for do that. So we really appreciate you guys. Peace, love, and hair grease, man. It's Love of the Game podcast.
You be need some
We out.
You use that word.